What was he saying?
Okay, right in here, he has a low spot, right here. See it?
Yeah.
The way all this stuff was, it had a little sag in a transom where it was just hanging. So he came in here and raised this up a little bit.
Just kind of fair it out.
And he noticed that he did have a little bit of a dip right there. And for him to, come out and say it, I understand that. But down here, this work right here is what really, this is some stuff right here. This workmanship that he did right here, this white oak.
You can't hardly see.
You can't find the seams anywhere.
That's just about as tight as it gets.
Yeah, he matched the grain where that looks like it could be one big wide piece of wood. So,
Did he have to rebuild the whole case? Or not?
No, the centerboard case, no, we didn't touch it.
Okay.
He left it just as is.
Okay.
But this part right here being all bronze, look at that. He wants me to get this paint off of here and polish. He wants to polish all that up too.
Well, you're going to end up painting it though.
I know.
I can understand getting.
He don't want to paint it.
Well, I can understand getting the paint off of it. Good.
But he put a new frame right here. This right here especially had a new frame under here. That was all rotted. You could pull it out by hand.
Yeah.
And then these pieces right here, where the what is that? That's a piece of Spanish cedar. Beautiful piece of Spanish cedar.
Okay. Not mahogany.
Not mahogany. They're hard to tell the difference in.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. And like on the big Sharpie we're doing, that thing's all Spanish cedar, almost the whole boat. Very good picture of it. So,
but this still has really nice lines. I love the shape of the transom. It's got this wonderful curve here. And it's got just a little dimple right there.
You know what else it has? Wide transom stability.
Exactly.
That's what the Seabat does. The Seabat's only
It's kind of narrow.
Of course, it's a shorter boat too.
That's true.
But it's
Well,
real narrow.
proportionally though.
But that photo shows this right out of the water, right here,
and
where it wouldn't drag.
And you would think that they would be buried.
Yeah.
I would.
Why it was healing like that.
Yeah.
So it was perfectly balanced. It was sailing along there really good. Look at this stuff right here. Okay, this is the rubber.
Okay.
I'm not in it right there. This right here is heart pine, and it's all heart. Right here, it's going to be the rub rail on there. It's a half round.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the half round rub rail on there.
Are they going to do the?
We're going to varnish
I was going to say, are they going to have the brass cap on it?
Oh yes. Matter of fact, you want to see that?
Yeah. Let's have a look at the. Yeah. Okay, so this is the original.
This is the original. Look how that was made. This is a good picture too. If you could get that in there.
So this is the original rub rail, and it's going to have the same brass.
Yeah, we're going to use the same exact
as
it is. We're putting it right back like it was, and that's what I've been trying to get David to help me do. But this right here, these gaff jaws right here. See this right here? I had to do that to the Seabat and the Fat Cat. I had to do this too.
Yeah.
When that gaff is peaked all the way up, this will be laying right here, and the block will be up here, where nothing's rubbing on. See, the mast will be
Right.
The mast will be right there.
Yeah.
So this is really nice right here. That makes it really a good job.
Good. The chafing tongue looks like it's still in pretty good shape.
And this leather they have on there, the way they cut it, matched it on both sides.
This is all leather right here. All this material here.
All leather.
And that's for to keep the wood from chafing. In fact, this is actually called the chafing tongue.
And look, here's a better example of it right here. Look. How they matched everything.
Oh,
Get
that's
this out of the way.
beautiful. That's beautiful. Look at the fastenings. That's nice. That's nice.
Yep. This would normally be like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to varnish this tomorrow. I put the varnish on this, and it's
soaking it
it's
up.
almost like, look how dark it turned it. That is some old, imagine that's probably the original bowsprit.
Yeah.
When he took it off, everything they looked, now this boat was in storage how many years?
Oh, Lord, let me see, after he died, 56 to early 60s. So about 5-6 years.
I think it's original. Everything that we looked at, we couldn't see any evidence of where it was taken off.
Would they have shortened the bowsprit when they cut the rig down?
Possible.
So that might be
It might be from that time.
from like 1920s.
Yeah, that would make sense.
or maybe even 19 teens.
Yeah.
But that's a possibility. And
fittings on here, more coats of varnish on it.
Are you going to do the same thing with that replacement mast?
Oh yeah, it's going to be the same exact thing.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. And I think I can use one of the catboat.
This is going to be nice when it's done.
I don't know how that's going to look all shiny.
Well, I'm just saying the whole thing rigged and everything.
Yeah. Like that, and it's
Or
right
is it loose
above
footed?
like it belongs rather than dragging in the water.
Okay.
Well designed, well balanced.
Club on the jib.
Yeah.
Club like this. Is that it? No. Well, no. That's got a jaw on it. A pair of jaws on it. We were looking around to see if there was a club.
Yeah, we don't have any out in the bowsprit.
Okay.
We had this going up to that right there.
Okay.
Whatever it goes. I didn't see anything on there that you could mount club-footed gear on right there.
Okay.
But this piece right here, he's going to polish all this too. But I wanted to take it off. Can't believe I was able to get all these bolts off of here, but I had to keep some of them. Propels out around, I'm telling you. That's Sharpie that we're doing.
All right. Now look at the note up here. Hold on to that. Drawn from the designer's original draft to show vessel was believed to have been built. Yeah, look at this. Shear and ends scaled from photos. Well, see, 1943, the boat was over in Mandeville owned by the Priettas. And it was still under sail. And I think he found out from the customs house where it was, and he went over there and took photos of the boats. Well, the Priettas have the photos, and I've got copies. I'm pretty sure that those are the photos that Chappelle worked from, because you can see one side of the bow, and he's got a great shot of the stern. But it's
Go. And 3, 2, 1.
We're here at the Maritime and Seafood Industry Museum in Biloxi, and we're standing on a sloop that was built in 1997 at the Johnson Shipyard in Biloxi. And it's being restored here, and we're in the middle of the restoration, probably about 75% complete. And we were just going to show some of the items on the boat that are of particular interest. This boat's 30 feet long, and it's, I would say, almost 100% original. It was kept out of the weather for all those years, and it's rare to find a boat that is this original and be so old. So we've tried to expose a lot of the wood, and like all this beautiful cypress right here. All the cabin top is cypress. A lot of the coamings around here are all tongue and groove cypress, and it's all beautiful red cypress that you can hardly find anymore. And this cockpit back here, we have some beautiful mahogany seats in here. The woodwork is just tremendous in this boat. It's everywhere. Everywhere you look, it's all top grade, beautiful wood materials, and it's all original. And it's just a thrill to work on something that is so original, and we're trying to, preserve it in its state that it was in when we got it, except everything's refinished and mostly kept as original as possible. So we're just going to get in here and do whatever we can to bring it back to its natural state, and the rigging is going to be our next challenge, trying to get the boat rigged as it was, and we're going to have to replace quite a bit of the rigging as far as fittings and blocks and all that, but we're going to try to get them to be as original as possible. So okay. We're here at the Maritime Museum in Biloxi, standing on the deck of the ship.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
We're here at the Maritime Museum in Biloxi. We're standing on the deck of the Nydia, a 30-foot racing sloop that was built at the Johnson Shipyard in Biloxi in 1897. This boat is nearly original, even for its tremendous age that it is. We're in here trying to restore as much as we can and keep it as original as possible. And we have some volunteers and workers from the museum around here doing all the sanding and finishing. And we've had David George, a local boatwright, that's doing some of the heavier repairs underneath. So all this, this boat, everything on here is going to be refinished. This beautiful cypress on top of the cabin is a beautiful dark red cypress that you can hardly get anymore. The whole cockpit is all cypress. We have these beautiful mahogany seats in here, and all that is it's original, and it's hardly water stained or anything. It's beautiful woodwork. See there, I got lost right there.
3, 2, 1.
Also in this cockpit, this is the area where Mr. Baldwin Wood was sailing this boat the last time it actually sailed, and this is where he passed away right here in the cockpit, and was kind of hung over this tiller while the boat was still sailing, and he died with the love of his life sailing this boat. He just enjoyed being out here, and he died to me very appropriately right on his own boat. So that's, I don't know how that came out. I'm sorry about that.
Are you ready, sir? And 3, 2, 1.
At one time, we were told that the Baldwin Woods had this boat modified after a long time of racing. They kept a low profile on these race boats, and as the racing days slowed down and it became more of a day sailor, he had this deck raised, which is quite a job. You would have to take this shear plank off the length of the boat, and you'd have to cut all the frames and raise the entire deck and cabin all at one time, and then put some sister frames in there to hold it. This would give you more headroom and just make it a more comfortable boat, and it would also give you less water on deck when you're out in the waves and out in the surfaces of the Gulf out there. It would keep the deck a little drier having it higher. That's it.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
At one time, Baldwin Wood had this boat modified. He had the deck raised on it. The boat had a very low profile for its racing career, and as they wasn't racing as much anymore, he decided to have the deck raised so he could get more headroom, and also it would help keep water off the deck a lot more than a very low profile. They would have had to remove this shear plank, the shear strike, all the way down the length of the boat. They would have to saw off all the frames and raise the entire deck and cabin at one time, and then sister in some more frames, and then put all the planks back on, and that way the boat would have a lot more freeboard and a lot more comfort. Something like that.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
At one time, the deck on no, wait a minute.
No problem.
Oh, Lydia was used for racing.
And 3, 2, 1.
Nydia was used as a racing boat most of its life in the earlier years, and it was designed with low profile. As those years went away and it became a day sailor, the deck was raised on the boat, and it gave them more headroom, and it also gave, it was more seaworthy having that higher deck on there. A little bit simpler.
All right. And 3, 2, 1.
When you hear the old timers talk about a boat that has sweet lines, the Nydia here is a perfect example of it. This boat has some of the nicest lines. The curves and the shapes are all very fair, beautiful lines. You can tell a master craftsman built this boat.
Right. Daryl, could you all hold it down just a little bit on the conversation?
Was that it?
That was perfect.
Except we need to do it again.
Oh, because of the noise? Now, let's see. Now, what did we say? Okay. Yeah. Whenever you're ready.
All right. And 3, 2, 1.
When you hear some of the old timers refer to a boat as having sweet lines, this boat, Nydia, is a perfect example of what they're talking about. The lines that this boat has is what you can tell was designed by a master shipwright, and has done a beautiful job. I messed that part up. Was that enough before I got it? Okay, I gotta just relax here a minute. Okay.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
When you hear the old timers talk about a boat that has sweet lines, this boat, Nydia, is a perfect example of what they're talking about. You can tell it was built by a real master craftsman, and the lines of a boat were what was so important in those days for it to be a fine craft.
Very good.
How you like that? In the restoration, started off, is that the word you said it?
Yeah, okay.
In
the restoration.
In the restoration, there we go.
Boat like Nydia.
Okay.
We've been,
All right, let's give it a shot here in 3, 2, 1.
In the restoration of this boat, Nydia, we have been very fortunate to have David George, he's a superior craftsman, work on this boat. He did a lot of the structural work on it, and this right here is a perfect example of his workmanship. You can hardly find any of the seams. This looks like one piece of wood right here. It's excellent craftsmanship. Pretty.
All right, and anytime.
This was a replacement mast from back in the Nydia's racing days. The original was broken, and this one was rebuilt way back there. Oh, okay. Let's see. It was.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
This mast is a replacement mast for the Nydia. The original was broken in a race, and this shows you the superior workmanship in the replacement. I'm still not doing that.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
While Nydia was racing years ago, the original mast was broken during one of the races, and the crew on board was able to reshape the sail and still manage to win the race. Well, this mast right here is the replacement mast, and you can see the workmanship was still here by just observing this beautiful work when the last end blew up. Something like that?
yeah, that was a nice thing.
Until the end of it.
All right, anytime.
And this replacement mast is hollow inside. It's feather light to be such a large mast. They did some beautiful work on this boat. Simple.
Yeah.
All right, and 3, 2, 1.
And this mast is hollow. You can hear by knocking on it, very light, and it's constructed of Sitka spruce, a very fine wood for mast. Very light. You can't believe a 32-foot long mast, you can pick it up with one hand. Something like that. This mast is 32 feet long, and it's hollow, and it's made of Sitka spruce, one of the lighter materials that were very excellent for sailing craft. It's hollow and very light. You can, you know, pick it up by hand. It's extremely light. Another, you know, fact that Nydia had superior workmanship. Good enough?
Yeah, very good.
Something like that? Okay. After we step this mast and we begin to rig the boat, we are fortunate enough to have found a Buckingham sail. It still has the Buckingham label on it. It's a little smaller than the original, but it's a cotton sail, just like the original when they were racing the boat. Something like that.
Very good.
We get a little
About that racket.
background noise, yeah.
That was great.
When we step this sail and begin to rig the boat, we have found a gaff sail built by the Buckingham Sail Company here in Biloxi. It's the original cotton sail that they would have used in those days. A little smaller than original, but we are lucky to have found it.
Very good.
Would you say step
1.
When we get ready to step this mast, we will be rigging the boat, and we have found a sail that was manufactured by the Buckingham Sail Company just a block down the street from this museum. It's an original cotton sail, and we are very lucky to have found it.
Perfect. 1.
We have, oh, wait a minute, let me do it again.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, let me see how to start it. That's where I have the trouble.
I think you say once we step this.
Yeah, there we go. Once we step it. Okay, you ready now? We'll soon step this mast and begin to rig the boat. And we have found a Buckingham sail that's going to be replace the original that was on here. It has the Buckingham label still on it. It's a sail company only a block away from this museum. and it's an original cotton sail, and we are very glad to have it. And also, the original sail on here would have been way too tall to get up. It would have hit the ceiling up there, so we lucked out and found the proper sail for it.
Perfect.